It sounds like it's straight out of a movie. Back in 1958, Boyne Lester Johnston robbed an Imperial Bank of Canada branch in Ottawa. Now, he was 25 years old at the time. Employed as the chief bank teller, he walked away with roughly $260,000, hightailing it to Colorado, where he bought a Corvette. There, he was found and arrested a few days later, thanks to a waitress who saw the wanted poster that you just saw on your screen. Now, he served 4 years in prison at a Kingston penitentiary. 60 years later, he made a return to the scene of the crime. And what was once a bank is now an upscale Ottawa restaurant. So he enjoyed some dinner and took a tour of the place. Now, I spoke to Boyne earlier. He explained why he returned to the scene of his crime 60 years later. And here's part of my interview with him.
I want to see what the inside of the bank looked like. I have a lot of memories from there, a lot of memories. A lot of things took place in that bank that I can't really talk about here at the moment, okay? So I wanted to be in that bank to get the feeling of what it was when I was 25 years of age and I'm now 85. I want to see what I felt like. I want to feel the adrenaline pump. The adrenaline pumps. It's one of the greatest feelings in the world. It beats alcohol by far.
And did you feel all of that? Did it all come back when you were there?
Absolutely it did, no question. I could walk around that bank blindfolded. I knew where I was. I knew where the vault was. I knew where the safety deposit boxes were, where the manager's office was, the washrooms downstairs, etc., the government check room. I could picture a lot of the people, 20-some people worked there, 22, 23 at the time. And everything sort of come back to me a wee bit, a flashback, if you like.
Yeah, you seem to have a pretty vivid memory of that time. That is for certain. And just very finally, I wanted to ask you, looking back, was it worth it? The fun that you had for the 4 years you spent in prison?
It was worth every minute of it. I'll tell you why. Not because of the money, not because of the time I had. I didn't really meet that many people that I knew, or they weren't friends of mine sort of thing, just people drinking. But however, 4 years that I got, which I served 2 solid, that was worth the whole thing, because no one will ever know what your freedom is about unless you've spent a certain amount of time in prison, at least over a year or 2 anyways, okay? And I met some interesting people in there, very much so. But at the same time, I had a great job working in the accounting department. It was what I always did. I worked with figures, so I did good time. And it was interesting because I met a lot of interesting guys in there, some good, some bad. But at the same time, the worst time would be, let's say, Christmas, okay? I'm always spent with my family. Maybe on a birthday, yeah. But outside of that, I did a pretty good time. So all in all, I would do it all over again, but only again, as I said, for the experience of being in prison and told when to eat, sleep, play, work by a bell. Nobody knows that unless you actually have it done to you. Okay?
Well, Mr. Johnston,
when you come out, sorry.
I was just going to say, Mr. Johnston, you certainly have an interesting take on life and on that experience. And we certainly appreciate you sharing that story with us and the experience of going back to the scene of the crime decades later. And so thank you again for joining us.
No problem. Thank you.
That was Boyne Johnston. He robbed a bank in Ottawa 60 years ago and apparently doesn't regret it.